gather clues and look for signs, but I can't hear the song you sing. Why try to soothe? Why are you whispering while the bombs are falling? Go easy on me. I can't help what I'm doing. Go easy on me. Oh, I can't help what I'm doing. Hello again. I buried you. Where have you been?
All right, getting into it.
You came back from the labyrinth.
A little bit early today. Yeah, we got 3 people in the chat.
You've looked for things that could be found in the thread.
Awesome. Got 3 people in the chat already. Wow. Happy Monday, everyone. Hope everybody's having an awesome day. Welcome to the 3D Painter. My name is Ron. This is my channel. And I do a bunch of weird shit. Right now, I'm working on a model called Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga that was sculpted by Wicked 3D. If you're familiar with, well, if you're not familiar with Wicked, you can look them up on their Patreon. If you're into Star Wars, I'm sorry, I got to backtrack a little bit. This is not done by Wicked 3D. This is done by SW 3D Studios. Very sorry about that, guys. SW 3D Studios is a sister company to Wicked 3D. They also have a channel called Berserk or Bedzerk. I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. All 3 are absolutely fantastic sculpting 3D companies. And this particular model was done by SW 3D Studios. Again, it's called Obi Wan Kenobi Rides Boga. It is a scene from Revenge of the Sith. It's just after Obi Wan Kenobi kills General Grievous. He hops on his trusty steed named Boga, and they try to get away from all the clones shooting them because Palpatine just executed Order 66, and this is Boga, her head. She comes in at a whopping almost 5 feet long. I haven't really quite measured it yet, but she's massive, and this is just her part of her head. She's got this whole headset of headdress of feathers coming off of her, and I'm in the process of cleaning up all these gaps. There were some, during the printing process, you've got some swelling and whatnot. There was a big gap here, and I got that filled in with some putty, some green stuff, and then use some sculpting tools to go in and sculpt those scales, stuff like that, because we're trying to hide those gaps. So you can see that work there. And this stuff is cured and ready to be painted over with our primer. And then on this particular foot, I've still got some holes to fill in here on the feet. Pretty simple. Shouldn't take much to get that done. Don't have to really sculpt anything. Got some supports sticking out here. And depending on how far I can get in the stream today, I may be working on a little side project with you guys from the video game Arc Raiders. Really fantastic game. Lots of fun to play. I've been playing the hell out of that game lately. And yeah, so we might be working on that a little bit. I'm just kind of doing some intros here to get things going. Wait for a few people to join the chat. And if you could, obviously, please leave a like before you bounce out today. Really appreciate it. The algorithm appreciates it. And more than anything, I really appreciate you guys. Big time. So I've got the chat open. If anybody'd like to say hi, please do and leave a like. And let's try and get into this. Also, if you do have any questions, concerns, comments, please leave those in the chat. Any suggestions too? I love constructive criticism. I get a lot of really great ideas from some of my subscribers, making suggestions on how to do certain things, and most of the time, those suggestions really, really help out with my projects and stuff. So I really appreciate that. So just looking this over now, this is the last piece I was working on. I've got some scales I want to add, or some texture I want to add here to the back of this foot. So I'm going to do that, and I'll show you how we do that in a minute. But in the meantime, I've got some new epoxy sculpting clay that I'm going to try out today. Oh, am I having trouble with my live stream here? I hope not. I'm taking a pause for a minute here. Looks like the channel froze up. Hopefully not. Where are we at here? So there's a little bit of a lag. I apologize for that. Should be getting good internet signal here, though. Looks like there's a bit of a delay. Let me look at my internet stream here. Yeah, that's looking good. I'm going to turn my camera here just a minute and just check, see if I can check my internet stream real quick. Looks like we're doing okay. Maybe a false alarm. All right. It is quite warm today here in Southern California. We really haven't gotten any type of winter yet as far as temperature is concerned. Really warm days. The nights are pretty cold, but and we've had a bit of rain, which is great. But overall, it's kind of cooking out in my studio today. It's about 75 degrees outside. Anyhow, so this is a two-part epoxy sculpting clay. I think, if I got it right, this is the same epoxy sculpt that one of my subscribers suggested that she uses. So thank you, Jen. That's Jennifer G. She's one of my regular subscribers that cruises onto the channel and always has awesome input. Really appreciate her company and hanging out. But she had mentioned this stuff, and I'd been using this green stuff. The green stuff is really good, highly sculptable, and I really like it. I've been using it for years, but I thought I'd try something new out. So we'll kind of be checking this out. I'm not really doing a review on it or anything per se, but we can at least take a look at it together and see how it works. So again, it's a two-part epoxy. I suck at reading directions. Air dry, no firing required. That's good. Strong adhesive power. Adheres nearly to any surface. Easy to use. Mixed 1-to-1 volume in small quantities as you need it. Once you've completely mixed the two components, you have about 45 minutes to an hour of working time. That's fantastic. In your workspace, cold, okay. Cold equals longer working time. If it's hot outside, shorter working time. So we'll have some medium work time today to play with this stuff. But let's go ahead and mix up a little bead of it so we can fill in these holes on the toes. A little piece of foam or something that was in there from the packing. You can see I've already tried a little bit of it. We'll check into that later. And you only need a little bit at a time. Equal parts, so that's about the same. I like the texture. I like the way it feels so far. I also like that it's oh, and you know, if with putty, if you wet your hands a little bit, it keeps your hands from getting too sticky. And we just want to make sure we fully knead this together and mix it well. So it's got a little bit of residue that's coming off on my fingers, which is normal, totally normal. It does get sticky rather quick. I'm just gonna pop some into this hole here, and then we'll feather that out. Good enough. Fill in this hole here. And thank you so much again for leaving a like before you bounce out today. I really appreciate that. And I especially appreciate you guys coming and hanging out. I'm a pretty open book, so again, if you have any questions or concerns or comments, please leave them in the chat. I've got my monitor going here, and I'm always ready to answer any questions you guys have. And overall, you know, we're just here to have a conversation and hang out and work on this crazy hobby of ours. And I also have these silicone tools that I can use to even further feather stuff out. So we'll be using some of those today. I feel like my finger works best in this particular instance. So how's everybody doing out there today? See, we got a few visitors in the chat right now. Feel free to let me know where you're watching from. I've got viewers from all over the world, and I love to hear where everybody's from, what your native language is. Hopefully your family's doing well. Hopefully you're doing well. I freaking love you guys. I'm so thankful to be doing this with you and hanging out, having this time together and learning how to do all this crazy stuff. That's looking pretty good. And I've got this little texture roller here, and I can just give that a little roll across to add some scale texture. Hopefully you can see that okay. Try to get the light. That's a little better. These have been working out really great for me, getting scale texture and stuff imprinted into different parts of the model. You know, you don't want your fingerprints to be part of the sculpt. Go. And then I get a little bit in there sometimes, and so to get that cleaned out, I just use an old toothbrush with some water on it, and you can kind of, you want to do it obviously before it cures, but just get that toothbrush in there, and that'll help get that excess stuff that kind of sticks to the texture. We'll get it out of there. You know, don't wait till it cures, but your texture roller will last a lot longer if you do keep it clean. All right, so I'm going to call it good on this foot. We're going to let this cure, or I'm going to call it good on these toes. We're going to let that cure. And then now I'm going to use some liquid resin, some UV resin to add some scale work, you know, some scales to the foot, the back of the foot here. So I'm going to change the camera angle so you guys can see how I'm doing that. All right. So I've got this bottle that I spray painted black to keep sunlight out of it. And there is printer resin inside here. It's just the, I use Anycubic standard gray printer resin. Mostly if I get a special request to use a different color, I will use it. You know, if I'm doing a commission or something like that. You know, if somebody wants me to print a model for them and send it out to them so they can paint it, I will do that. You can email me for any special requests. I understand that a lot of people don't have the space or the capability to print in resin themselves. So if you don't and you would like me to print something for you to paint at home, I can do that for you. Just leave a message here in the chat, or you can message me at the3dpainter@gmail.com, and I'll respond to you and we can discuss pricing and stuff like that. I'm very fair. So what else we need is a UV light, which is, I use just this for this particular application. I'm going to use this pen light. Works really well. It's nice and bright. It's good to use UV protective lenses when you're doing this stuff. You don't want to look directly at that light. You can find those on Amazon for like $5. They're dirt cheap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a drop of resin at a time. kind of work my way around here, and those drops are going to act like these scales, and we're going to kind of just use that technique to blend this in around this area here. Um, See a spot here back on the foot that's bugging me. Need to fix that. There we go. All right. So I'm going to turn this on, and I'm going to hold it in my mouth. This is how I'm doing it. There's one. So you can see that little, just that little drop. Once it's cured, well, it cures almost instantly with that UV light, but that's a scale. And we're just going to work our way around here and add a few more to add that texture to this part of the model. So that's looking really good. I don't know if you can see that. It's a really good way to add some nice scales. You know, if you need to blend something in like that, it may not work on something with smaller scales. In this particular case, you know, you can see the grain of the scales or whatever you want to call it. It's pretty big. Try to figure out a better way to hold on to this. Yeah, that'll work. Cool. So now I can use both hands instead of holding the damn thing in my mouth. You kind of want to get that light right on there before it loses its surface tension. That keeps it beaded up like a scale. It's a little tedious, but it does work, and it works very well. before I filled it in with putty, there was a really big drain hole on the back of the foot here. I got that filled in with some putty. Sorry about that. Move on to the back side of the foot here. So I got that filled in with some green stuff and got it worked out to where it was at this point, and I thought it obviously didn't look great. Wasn't blending into the scales very well, so I figured this might be a great way to do it. And it's working out pretty well. Let's check and see how our coverage is looking there. So we got some nice scale texture going here. We'll get that exposed a little better. Probably add a couple more little spots here and there. Get those gaps filled in a little better in between the scales. I'm not looking for pure perfection, but it looks good enough, especially once it gets painted. It'll look good enough to where it'll pass. You know, anybody that didn't know there was a big old hole in the back of her foot probably won't even see that there was a correction made here. So I think that looks good enough. And so we'll go ahead and make sure that's really well developed. And then we'll take our Dremel bit, which I'm using this guy here, and we'll use this to sand, kind of smooth out the back of the foot here. Kind of blend everything in better. Yeah, I think that looks really nice. Most excellent. And once you get that painted over with some primer, you won't be able to tell that there was a hole there. It looks great. I'm very happy with it. So we'll go ahead and smooth out a little bit more here on the foot. think that looks good. Well, I think I'm going to call the post prep on this leg done. We just need this to cure, and we're ready to go ahead and glue this to the body and start getting it primered. So we'll set this aside for now and call this piece done and move on to the next one, which is this head. I just want to give it a real good go over, make sure I got all these parts cleaned up. We've got like a little bit of cleanup to do in the mouth. Looks like there's a little piece of a support here. Get that out. I think that looks good. Just want to see how the tongue and everything looks together with it. These pieces are all going to be painted separately, I think, for the most part. I may at least get these parts glued because I'm going to have some gaps to fill here in the jaw. Let's take a look at that. I feel like maybe I should glue the jaw together. This part can stay separate. And I'm gonna need to glue the headdress on the feathers on the back of the head here, which is a bummer because I would really like to be able to paint that separately, but we've got some gaps here that need to be filled just a little bit, which means I'm going to wind up having to mask off. I'm going to have to mask off the what do you call it? The reins, you know, the head restraints, whatever you want to call it. So that being said, let's think about just trying to figure out the logistics of painting it with the tongue already inside. I really don't want to have to do it that way. The tongue goes in you have to put the tongue in. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy? Yeah, I'm kind of bummed we missed you, but I definitely wouldn't have wanted you to drive up here with the way the weather was. Ladies and gentlemen, the illustrious Murphy Law is in the chat. Thanks for stopping by, dude. Oh, you're at LAX right now. Streaming when you're at the airport. Spend less time at the airport. How about that? Well, at least, hey, I mean, at least you've got something entertaining to watch, you know, while you're at the airport. You know, God knows how much fun that fucking place is. So while you're here, real quick, I'll show you. We just finished up with the foot, the back of the foot. Nope, wrong foot. This foot had a big ass hole back here. And so what I did was I used my needle applicator to add 1 drop at a time of UV resin. So I'd add a drop and then develop it. And that's how we got all those little scales back there. And then I sanded it down and smoothed it out to blend it in. So we got that hole covered up now. We've got some scales added to the back of the foot. Once it's painted, you won't even know that it was there. So that's cool. That part's done. Yeah, now I'm just kind of working out the logistics here on the head. I think at least what I'm gonna do is paint the inside of the mouth and underneath the tongue before I glue this together, so that at least the inside of the mouth and the teeth are all done, and then I can glue it together and then start working on the outside. I don't know. The logistics with this thing are pretty daunting, as far as what steps do I want to paint it in. I definitely want to paint this separately and then just glue it on. So, yeah, just trying to kind of work all that out right now. I want everything to be as seamless as possible. Any way you cut it, this is probably going to be the toughest part of Boga to paint, is getting this head looking right. Because it is going to be a focal point. I know everybody's eyes are going to go to her head, and I want this to look as amazing as possible. So, yeah. So I think I'm going to get this set aside for now. Since that's ready. And now I've got some cleaning up to do with these feet. Put this headdress aside. The feather works. Get these set aside. Getting closer and closer to the part where I paint this thing. It's freaky as hell. Let's do this one first, because this has we've got a lot of drainage holes to fill and some light sculpture work to do there. Fortunately, nothing inside the hand. There's still some supports to work out and get off of here. So let's get at it. Start picking these out. I mean, there's just no way I'm going to get every single support out of here before I paint. The second you start painting, you start seeing more supports that you missed. Everything pops out once you start putting primer and shit down. But how's your trip there, Murphy Law? How was Disneyland, dude? I mean, you guys got a lot of rain. I was wondering about you and how you were doing down there. Hi and bye from California. I just hope you guys had a really good time, man. He may be getting on his plane already, so if he doesn't answer, let's all wish Murphy Law a fantastic and safe trip home back to Orlando. Appreciate you, man. I love you, brother. Murphy Law and I have been friends for, I think, a little over 30 years. Been a long time. Long time. Lots of support bumps here on top of these feathers. And I'm going to use that Dremel bit to get in and try to get those down as much as possible. This particular foot, I remember, was a real pain in the ass to orient on the 3D print on the printer. You know, you're always looking for the best orientation possible to where your supports are going to be kind of hidden, or the support bumps, you know, the remnants of the printing process. And I remember this foot was really tough getting oriented correctly. I try not to use pre-supported files whenever I can. I don't even know that they had a pre-supported file for this particular model. I don't recall. I'd have to go back and look. It took me almost 3 weeks of non-stop printing on one printer, my Photon Mono M7 Pro in a cubic. That was the only printer I had at the time. So yeah, about 3 weeks of nonstop printing on that printer. Cost me about $150, and I went through almost 13 bottles of resin to get all 100 and I think it was 130, 120 parts printed. It's insane. Biggest project I've ever done. 100%. I need to. Well, what I really need to do is get an air compressor so that I can blow stuff out like that. I really hate going through these cans of compressed air. They're not only expensive, but I don't like the eco footprint that they leave. Less cans, the better. Speaking of which, I just got a Soda Stream recently, and I freaking love that thing. I like to drink seltzer water and stuff like that, and got tired of having cans, going through cans all the time. And I got the Soda Stream, and now I just have a plastic bottle that I fill with soda that I get to make at home. It's really nice. Stay hydrated, my friends. All right, so this stuff's getting a little tougher now. Looks good. Well, these texture rollers just do such a fantastic job. I can leave the link in the description for anybody who'd like them, but I found them on Amazon. If you take a screenshot of this and search pictures on Amazon, you can find them. Very inexpensive. And they do a great job of blending. And there's different types. And you got stuff like this, you know, for doing different types of textures. You know, like miniature stone walkways or, you know, whatever. All kinds of cool stuff. But these have come in very, very handy for me, especially on this model. I actually bought these specifically for doing this model, and they're really, really working out fantastic. Very, very happy with the results I'm getting so far with these. So I need to mix up a little bit more putty here. So far, I'm really liking how this stuff works. It's really nice. It's very workable. A little bit of water on your fingers again to keep it from sticking to you too much. And then you just want to knead those pieces together from the two different parts. There's a part A and a part B. Pick up this other piece that we had left behind. So, Jen, if this is the same stuff you recommended, Jennifer G, thank you very much for that. I'm enjoying how it works so far. Does leave behind a little bit of residue, but it seems to clean off really good with a little bit of water and a paper towel. Probably even better with some IPA or something. So with these big drain holes, I'm basically just working as much of it into it as I can, into the hole itself. And then get it feathered out a little bit. And then we'll take our texture roller here, give it a little pass over. I think those look pretty good. Yeah, very well blended and textured. So that's, I really like, I like this putty. I think it's great. It's working out wonderfully. So let's get these two holes covered up. And then I've got a smaller texture here since these scales are a little different. Not as prominent. Looks great. I think that looks really good. Okay, on to the next one. Really does help keeping your fingers a little damp when you're working with it. Again, I'm just pushing into the hole as much of it as I can without going too crazy. All right, that looks pretty good. I think I'm satisfied with these holes, how they look filled in. So we'll go ahead and set this aside to dry and cure, and then we'll be going in tomorrow or whenever I can get back to it. We'll be going in. Well, we can get some of it done right now. Let's go ahead and do that since we're here. Get these support bumps smoothed out. Got one little piece of support right here I got to get out. That broke right off. Perfect. Some of this is just, it's so tight and difficult to get into. About as good as I'm going to get it is with the, you can't get a sanding bit or anything in there. And I'm not going to go that crazy over detail on these, the insides of these feathers either. That would just be bonkers trying to get that all perfect. It's not going to happen. But the X-Acto knife, just kind of passing it through the feathers at a slight angle, is doing pretty good at getting these little supports out. Oops. Accidentally touched this knuckle here because I'm a knucklehead. Well, I might not want to play with that too much more until this has a chance to cure and it'll be a little more workable. So I think I'm going to set this aside and call it good for now. Let's see what we got to do over here. I think I already worked on this one. Yeah, this foot's looking pretty darn good. Let's get this stuff set aside. We'll leave this one up here because we're not done with it yet. And now on to the big stuff. Let's see here. I don't think I can safely work on the body right here. So this is the body of Boga, and it's huge. So you can see this is where her head attaches. That's my arm, and it keeps going and going and going. So yeah, got some work to do here. So I think what I'll do is get a bead rolled out, or we'll get a snake rolled out for this section. Well, let's just start back on the neck. Let's start working on this part of the neck here and get as far as we can. Hey, Jen, what's up, girl? There you are. Hey, I got a little, I got something to show you, Jen. I think you're going to appreciate this. This is a box. And here's a little sneak peek. This is all you get to see. But, yeah, it's packed. I did it. I packed it. So that'll be on your way to you hopefully by Friday. Some good stuff in there I think you'll appreciate. All right. Let's get set up here. So I've been working with, I wanted to ask you, Jen, is this the stuff that you're using? You said, You should be excited. Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Some good stuff in there. I think you'll like it. Oh, I need my water cup for my fingers. Okay. Well, so far, this stuff works fantastic. I'm really really happy with it so far. Let me see. Where's the other leg I just did? Since you came in late, so I got it sculpted in and feathered out really nice on the knuckles and stuff. I mean, these were big holes here, and it filled in really nice. So far, I'm very pleased with how well this stuff's working. That being said, see, I'm gonna need my silicone mat. Let me get my Sculpey stuff together here so I can bring it over to this other work table. Should probably clean this off too, because it's my garage gets so damn dusty. Get some better lighting. I'm just cleaning up my silicone slap mat real quick here. Everything in this damn garage slash studio just gets so dusty so fast. It's kind of a drag, but a necessary evil that I have to deal with. All right, I think I'm ready to sit down and get back at it. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. I think it looks fantastic. I'm getting as much done on this beast as I can today. And I'm not going to lie, I'm getting a little burnt out already on doing this. And I think that's why I've been kind of dragging my feet a little bit with live streams. This is just such a huge and daunting project. I am going to finish it eventually. It's got to be done by August. August 1st is my personal deadline for this guy. So one way or another, it's going to be done by August. But I've got other projects I wanted to get to. I want to do some works by Abe 3D this year. I think I mentioned in earlier live streams that I want to do. I want to do a lot of female-oriented projects this year. Not only to honor women, but also because women are fucking awesome, and there's some really cool models out there by Abe 3D, SW3D Studios. You know, some female Jedi, Sith characters that I really want to do. Now, I'm going to take a break on her, but I definitely want to get more of this bodywork done, started. I will feel better accomplished if I just get to it and get to a certain point where I feel good about it. I don't know how else to put it. Yeah, I want to do some more on it before I take a break from it. And to be fair, this part of the body is so large, and the gaps are big enough to where it's really not going to take a hell of a lot for me to get a lot done. So why not get some more of it done. Break off some more of this stuff. I'm really happy so far with how well this stuff works and sculpts. It's just equal parts. I don't know how similar it is to what you use, but I do like it. I thought it might have been the same stuff just because it says epoxy sculpt, but it adds clay to the bottom. Epoxy sculpt clay. The working time on it's pretty good. The price is great. I think it was $15 for both of these, which is a good amount. And a little bit goes a long way, so I'm pretty pleased with it so far. Oh, I forgot to show you the back of the foot that I did. I think you'll dig this. Let me just get this put together real quick here. But yeah, how long is the work time? Well, I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, the work time is about an hour. The hotter it is, the shorter time you have. The colder it is, the longer work time you have. It's a little sticky. You get a little bit of residue on your fingers. It comes off pretty well with water. I haven't tried getting the residue off with alcohol yet, though. So let's give that a shot real quick. Yeah, it comes right off. That's cool. But yeah, so far I really like this stuff. Feathers out nice. It takes the texture roller takes to it pretty nice too. It's not getting stuck inside there or anything. Maybe a little bit, but that's to be expected. I was saying earlier with the texture roller to get putty and stuff cleaned out of it, just take a toothbrush and nice and wet and just get it in there and scrub it out. And ultimately, I'm going to end up having to replace the texture roller because shit gets stuck in there. It's just not going to come out. Good enough. Now, the sketchy part about this damn model, this part of it, is it's so damn big that I got to kind of prop it up on stuff to work with it as carefully as I can. Without breaking anything. Come on. I will say that the amount of time I thought this was originally going to take to get these gaps filled and sculpted, it's really not as long as I was expecting. I'm getting farther along faster than I expected to, which is nice. It's little spots like this where there's like wrinkles in the neck and shit that are tough. And really, my only recourse with that is to get a sculpting tool in there to feather it out with, and then just manually add some scales. Sorry, the camera's shaking a little bit here. Probably hard to see it on camera, but this little texture roller is almost perfectly mimicking the scales on her neck. It's looking really good. I'm very, very pleased with how these worked out. It's a much larger gap over here, so just got to find a steady position. It's about as steady as it gets right there. I really like how pliable this stuff is. Hey, there's Jerry. What's up, buddy? Glad you dropped in, man. Ladies and gentlemen, the illustrious Jerry Rojas is in the chat. Blah, 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 blah. I'm just sitting here making a fucking mess with putty. Come on, get in there. It's all right. I'm going to feather that out anyways. So that really didn't take very long to get around her neck there. Get that gap sealed. So that's nice. I think next I'll go ahead and start blending in this big long seam here. So let's roll out a nice big snake. You don't know about all that? Oh, Jerry. Oh, Jerry. We know. Your wife knows. So, how's everybody's Monday been today so far? How was your weekend? Yeah, let's talk about fuck Monday. Let's talk about the weekend. How did everybody do? What did we do this weekend? Newcomers to the chat, please feel free. How did you do? What did you do this weekend? Don't forget to leave a like, hit the subscribe button. But what did you do this weekend? Hopefully, something fun. I want to hear about it. I want to know what y'all did. Quiet weekend. Monday is Monday. I feel that in my soul. 100% with you there. Especially for my poor wife who had to go to work this morning. I forgot to lubricate this texture roller. Get this cleaned off a little bit here. So I give it a dip in the water first before I roll it over, so it doesn't do that too much. See, I mean, I thought something like that would take like a fucking hour to to fill in, and it was literally a matter of minutes to get that gap closed off. And I mean, you know, once all these gaps are sculpted and cleaned up, I can get this thing primered and start thinking about the paint job. I think I am going to glue everything together. I got to run the wires through it and get it all glued together and then paint it as one whole piece, which is going to be a pain in the ass, but logistically it's really about going to be the best way to do it to make sure everything comes together cohesively. Wife bought a loaf of bread to make grilled cheese, and she took a piece out. Damn, this thing's huge. I mean, they said, geez. Oh, shit. Never heard that before. That can be taken two different ways. No pun intended. Dirty bastard. Oh, this is why I love you guys. Keeps the chat entertaining, for sure. I was hoping my dad would get into the chat today. Dad, are you on? Are you just being fucking quiet over there? Say hi, Dad, if you're in here. It's these little parts, like where the straps and the stitches are. That's going to be a rough gap fix right there. I mean, I can do the scales real easy around that, but like the straps, you know, like, yeah, this is going to be a pain in the ass. Too funny, Jerry. Dirty bastard. I myself didn't really do a hell of a lot this weekend. My wife and I, Friday night, we went out and played a little bit of pool. Um, I had a good night. Was kicking ass on that pool table. I think I went. If I remember right, I think I went 9 games undefeated before someone finally took me off the table. Even got my wife to play a little bit. My wife is a really good pool player when she puts her mind to it. Um, Pool is definitely one of my games. It's a little tougher to play these days because it's fucking painful with my shoulder issues and everything. So I don't get to play as long or as often as I'd like to without it hurting. So yeah, this is what I was going to show you, Jen. Oop. So I don't know if you remember, I had a big hole in the back of the foot here. I covered the hole up with green stuff, and then I used the needle applicator to put a drop of resin down one at a time, and then you expose it with UV light. And so those are all individual drops of resin to imitate the scales on the back of the foot. Really happy with how it turned out. I think once I get some paint on it, you won't even be able to tell that there was a big old hole there. So I'm pretty pleased with that. Another big gaping. Of course, I just touched part of it, so it screwed up the texture. Fix that a little bit here. Once the stuff cures, I'll be going over it with a really soft Dremel bit to kind of smooth it out and blend it even better with the scales. Try to get this piece covered up here now. I think it should be fine. The good news is that, like, even after I prime it, I can just add more drops of resin if I need to fill in something else. The back of her foot, I'm not super worried about anyways, just because it's not a focal point of the model. The part that I'm most terrified about painting is definitely going to be her head, because I think a lot of people's eyes, especially my own, are directly going to, immediately going to be going to her head. I mean, that's one of the parts I'm going to look at first. When I look at the model, is going to be the head. Is the camera shaking unbearable? I hope not. Okay, good. Good enough. A little bigger. Needs to be a little bigger. Don't say it, Jerry. I know what you're thinking. Oh, goodness gracious me. Oh, my. Excuse me. Better out than in. Ain't that the truth? Unless it's in and out. And in and out, and in and out, and in and out. Oh, it looks good, right? Big one back here. Oh, I'm finally filling gaps. Bear with me, guys. Got to walk around a little bit. I keep forgetting to do that, and that's very bad of me. I do love that about my studio slash garage is I can get up and walk around a little bit, especially when my wife's at work. I don't have the car in here, so got plenty of room to cruise around. Oh, if I don't, my neck and shoulders and everything starts feeling really bad, and then I'm hurting for the rest of the day. And that's no fun. That's no fun at all. Ugh. So basically, I think what I'm doing with most of this is I'm going to get all these gaps filled in the lizard, and then I'll start filling the gaps on the straps, the strap gaps. And congrats. Congrats? What'd I miss? Congrats to my wife being at work all day. I'm very happy about that. Oh. What did I miss? What did I forget? What did I say that I forgot about already? Oh, congrats for gap filling. See? Yeah, thank you. I'm definitely fucking pleased with it. Especially once I get these parts finished, I can start getting the wiring through, and then I'm gonna glue the legs and everything on. The body just it absolutely has to get put together and painted. Otherwise, it won't be one big cohesive thing. Oh, so the putty I'm using is today. The putty I'm using is this stuff. I found it online. I thought I'd try it out, and I actually really like it. Jen uses something called Epoxy Sculpt, and I was kind of thinking this might be it. So I went ahead and tried it. It had really good reviews on Amazon, and so far I really like it. It's definitely working out nicely. Working time is about an hour. A little shorter time if it's hot, and a little longer time if it's cold. You know, so if you're working in something that's, you know, if it's cold inside or whatever, you got a little more time to work with it. If it's hot inside or wherever you're working on it with, a little less time. So far, I'm pretty stoked on it. And definitely a little bit goes a long way. The real test for me is going to be seeing how it works once it's cured. You know how well it sands. It's definitely sticky. A little bit of water on your fingers when you're working it together helps keep it from sticking to your fingers. And then when you're applying it, I'm sure you noticed I was putting water on my fingers. It really helps the application process go better. And I do like the way it's working with my silicone tools and the texture roller. Yeah, I really don't have any complaints about it right now. It's exactly what I was hoping for and expecting out of the product. And I believe it was only about $20 for the two cans. I can leave a link in the description, or get your phones ready. Take a screenshot. I'll hold that up for a minute. Take a screenshot, and you can look that up on Amazon. I just realized I got a big fucking hole in her knee right here that I got to fix. Same as this. So let's do that really quick. Glad I saw that. I mean, I would have seen it eventually, but better to catch it now because then I can work on it at the same time as everything else tomorrow. It's probably too much. Oh, you're using the same stuff? Oops. Accidentally dropped that ball into the water cup here. That's all right. Still usable. So, Jerry, you have the same stuff? Is that correct? Aves Epoxy Sculpt. Okay. Well, that's not what this is. Done deal. Once paint gets over that, you won't even know there was a hole there. I freaking love these texture rollers. These things are so fucking killer. Highly recommend. Highly recommend these. Dirt cheap on Amazon. Take a screenshot and order yourself a set of those. You just, when you're using them with putty, take a little toothbrush and get that excess putty out of them. And it helps if you dip them in water before you roll it across the surface that you're using the putty on. I have found that it works better that way. Yeah, same concept, totally. I'm not sure if you were asking if this stuff was sticky, Jen, but yes, it is if you're not using a little bit of water with it when you apply it. But I haven't had any problems working with it. Definitely working exactly as I expected it to, if not better. I like it. And you get a nice long one right there. I sure wish I would have had like one giant ass printer that I could just printed this whole lizard with all in one go. Yeah, a very, very, very big printer. Absolutely. I mean, Boga's coming in at nearly 3 feet long, or sorry, 4 feet long. She might be 5 feet long. I haven't measured her yet. That'd be fun to figure out. Good. Get this propped up so I can do the underside a little bit here. That should be good. Shit. That's quite a bit done already now, considering got almost the entire neck done. Yeah, pretty much did get the neck done. Let's take a step back and have some fun here with something else. Oh. All right. I'm a little curious. My armature fell off of the table. All right. So counting for the head, maybe another 5 inches there. Yeah, fuck. If she was stretched out from head to tail, she'd be about 4.5 feet long. So with the head and everything, she's coming in at a little over 3 feet in length. That's pretty impressive. I think this is just going to be an easier way to work on it this way with my see if I could see if the lighting is okay from there. That should work all right. You guys get to see a little bit more of me today instead of my boring ass beat up hands. But as always, it's not about me, it's about the model. It's about the hobby. And for any newcomers, this is me, my ugly mug. Don't get to see my face much because it's not about me. My channel is not about me. It's about us. It's about you guys. It's about all of us learning this hobby together and having fun. And when I started my channel, I decided I didn't want it to be about me. I just want it to be about this. So I don't show my face much, but occasionally it's a necessary evil. I'm not super anonymous anyways. It's not that I'm scared to show my face. At least I'm not going bald or anything. I got a pretty long head of hair here. Yeah. Make it artistic. There we go. That's got to be freaky looking. Here, I'll put myself on camera for a little bit today. Just for the fuck of it. Bah! Channeling Einstein. I was thinking more Robert Smith. I don't have black hair anymore, though. And I don't wear makeup. Not anymore, anyways. I outgrew it. I love Einstein's hair. I know I need lipstick, though. Hey, dude, I am not afraid to wear lipstick. Been there, done that. I look good in lipstick. Eyeliner, even better. When I was in a band, I did wear very faint eyeliner occasionally. Just to give it that more emo look. Fucking cigarette keeps going out. It's pissing me off. And yeah, guys, I do smoke. So I lose a like for that. All right, where are we at? Yeah, it should be enough. I could see you doing eyeliner, Jerry, especially after that big ass fucking black eye you had. These fucking dogs. You were a goth in the 80s, Jerry? Once a goth, always a goth. That never dies. We are still goths, bro. I know I am. I still listen to The Cure, as I know you do. I hate to admit that I like the Smiths. I love the Smiths, actually. I just don't like Morrissey. I never have. Just, I've never liked professional intellectuals. They're some of the most fucking annoying people on the planet. especially Morrissey, that fucking asshole. He'll cancel a concert because it's too cold outside. He did that recently here, I think in Santa Barbara. He canceled the concert because it was too cold out. Yeah. Morrissey's just a piece of shit. In my personal opinion, I think Morrissey's a piece of shit. What a fucking miserable life that guy has. I hate to admit that I liked some of his solo shit. He did a couple of albums that were really, really good back in the 90s. I can't remember the names of them right now. But for me, it was always about his bands. The bands he got, the musicians he put together to make his music, they did some great stuff. Not gonna lie, I really enjoyed it. I'm just talking about Morrissey as a person. You know, he's got an unusual, unique voice. He writes good songs. But just personally, he's an asshole. I think. I agree with you, Jen. Like, Morrissey does suck. The Smiths were amazing. And the Smiths were incredible because of Johnny Marr. I mean, there's no two ways about that. If it wasn't for Johnny Marr, the Smiths would never have existed. I mean, Johnny Marr was the Smiths and is the Smiths as far as I'm concerned. That guy was and is an absolute fucking musical genius. All right, so we got to mix up some more putty to get along this big gap here. God, I'm actually really pleased with how much progress I've been able to make just today, getting these gaps filled. It's definitely going a lot faster than I was expecting it to, and I'm very happy about that. So let's mix up some more epoxy. Let me check my battery life on my phone here. So far, so good. All right. Oh, fuck, that scared me. What is that light coming from? Oh, there's like a little tiny sliver of light coming through my garage, through a tiny little hole. It's like Indiana Jones when he put that crystal up in the Well of Souls, that Tannis, and it showed the location of the Ark. Oh, Susie and the Banshees? Fucking A, man. Susie Sue. I knew my subscribers had good taste. So Jerry's Spotify playlist includes Dead Kennedys, Dead Milkmen. I fucking hate the Dead Milkmen. Jerry, we can't be friends for like 2 minutes. All right? I'm starting now. Set a timer. Jerry's on timeout. You're dead to me right now. Okay. I'm not talking to Jerry, but the Smiths, Sex Pistols were all right. Minor Threat, fuck yes, Minor Threat. Ian MacKaye is one of my most admired punk rock guys. especially Fugazi, the stuff he did with Guy Pichotto. Absolutely phenomenal work. I saw I saw Fugazi play here at the Ventura Theater back in 1998, I believe. By far one of the most incredible shows I've ever been to in my entire life. We'll address the Dead Milkman in a minute. You're still on timeout. Um, the Ramones, probably gonna go to hell for this, but I never really was a Ramones fan. Um, Same with what's the name of that fucking band? Everybody hates this opinion of mine. um, was it I dislike them so much I can't even remember the name of the fucking band, but everybody loves them. It's God. Son of a bitch. Can't think of it right now. Can't. All right, Jerry's off timeout again. We are now friends again. Um, Dead Milkmen. I've met those guys. I've seen them play. By far, some of the biggest dipshit, asshole, pieces of shit human beings I've ever met. And they're absolutely fucking horrible live. The only reason why they ever did anything decent on an album was because they had somebody producing them and they had to play shit over and over and over again until they got it right, because they sucked that bad. Just horrible. Never liked them. Can't fucking stand them. You're allowed. You can like them. Just don't talk to me about it. I just fucking hate that band. U2 is fantastic. Their early music was good. I really appreciated The Unforgettable Fire, Boy, and October. Their very first two albums were absolutely phenomenal. I've seen them live a couple of times, and their shows were good. I think Bono just kind of ruins it for me. He's like the Morrissey of Ireland or Scotland or wherever the fuck they're Irish, aren't they? No, they're Scottish. Scottish, I think. I don't know. Bono's just he's always just been too fucking high on himself, and I really dislike people that are like that. I tend to dislike people that are like that. I can't think of anybody that thinks their shit doesn't stink that I like. And Bono is one of them. I don't know. I weird out on people that have like these weird monikers that they go by. You know, I mean, can you imagine meeting Sting? Like, what was it? Dana Carvey or somebody did a skit on that years ago. You know, like, hey Gordon, how are you? No, it's not Gordon. My name is Sting. Could you please call me Sting from now on, please? Like, fucking why? Isn't your name Gordon? I feel the same way about Bono. You know, like, dude, just go by your fucking name, dude. The fuck does Bono mean? Is there, I mean, if there's some crazy cool story as to why his name is Bono, feel free to share. Love to hear it. As much as I know music, which my musical knowledge is pretty extensive, I don't know why Bono calls himself Bono, but I think it's fucking stupid. I always have. Um, but shit, man, the guy can sing. Back in the day, he wrote some good songs. Like I said, Boy in October, or to this day, my two favorite U2 albums. I mean, just absolutely phenomenal work they did back then. I feel the same way about The Edge. I mean, come on, dude. Why the fuck do we all have to call you The Edge? But same with Edge. The motherfucker can play. You know, the dude can play. He is like the king of delay pedals and such. I feel like personally, like U2 kind of hit the fan. Like they hit their they met their mark with um, Rattle and Hum. I think Rattle and Hum personally was like the last decent album that they did, and even that album was kind of like, they were just kind of losing it for me. I just wasn't super impressed with the whole thing, and maybe that's because it was accompanied by like this fucking how do I want to put it? Uh, a self-stroking documentary that they did about traveling around the country and all this stuff. And there's definitely some things I appreciated about the album, but I feel like that was the last really decent work that U2 did personally. It was a childhood nickname. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a fucking bass player. It's right there on my arm. Sting can fucking play the bass. I mean, dude, the Police, I absolutely love that damn band. Between Gordon's, between Sting's bass playing and Stuart Copeland playing drums. I mean, fuck, Stuart Copeland still, the dude's a god. The guy's a god, hands down. Um, I absolutely love the Police. I loved a lot of work that Sting did for his solo stuff. But saw him in concert, absolutely phenomenal. I just have a funny thing about nicknames. I just think nicknames are fucking weird. Um, Good for him. It was a childhood schoolyard nickname. Okay, cool. But why? Why did he call himself fucking, why did kids start calling him Sting? Bono means beautiful voice in Latin, Bono Vox. Did he give himself that fucking name? I mean, my name in Latin or Gaelic or whatever means powerful, mighty wind, but I don't call myself fucking fart. I could. He wore a yellow and black sweater and could. Jen, you're fucking Googling this right now, aren't you? eh. I appreciate Flea's bass playing, but he's not my favorite by any stretch. Flea as a person is an amazing dude. That's why I love you, Jen. No, I know this fucking random musical bullshit trivia. I love that about you. I think that's great. I never bothered to read about it or find out why Sting was called Sting. Well, aren't those kids he went to school with just so fucking creative? Like, okay, so you've been using the same nickname you've got since primary school, and you still rocking it. Okay, that's cool. Whatever floats your fucking boat. Anyway, you cut it. Those guys all have fuck you money, and if I had that kind of money, I'd be like, you can call me whatever the fuck you want. I'm so glad I'm not famous. What a fucking wreck that shit would be. Oh, Flea. I mean, Flea's called Flea because he's a very minuscule individual. He's a tiny little dude. And he jumps really high. I think. No, I know he actually he does. Flea's a fucking beast. I've seen the Chili Peppers several times, and I mean, God, even at what's he 62 now or something like that? Flea's still out there just with the energy of a fucking teenager, just killing it. Again, not my favorite bass player, but for what he does, he's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and he's a really, really, really nice man. He donates to kids' charities, and I believe he started a music foundation that gets instruments for inner city children that can't afford it, that can't afford their music lessons or their instruments, and he buys instruments for them and gets them, get some scholarships and all kinds of stuff. I think that's the kind of shit I would do if I had that kind of money. I help people. You know, be philanthropic, be helpful, help the world, help people in the world. That is the best way to be. I don't know how I would have handled fame if I ever got famous for anything I did or do. At my age now, I think I'd handle it okay, but when I was younger, fuck no. I'd have been a wreck. I think. I mean, one could only speculate. Probably would have died of a coke overdose or something stupid. I have a much better head on my shoulders now than I did when I was younger. At least I like to think so. I'm not self-destructive anymore. Skateboarding was definitely the best thing that ever happened to me. Skateboarding and martial arts really kept me out of a lot of trouble when I was in my teens and early 20s. If I didn't have that, I definitely would have fell into drugs and would have just fucked up my life. What time we got? It's 4 o'clock. All right. Time to start wrapping things up. What? I'm sorry, Jen. What's cool? What did I miss? What did I say? Oh, that the flea donates monies and stuff, and for kids. Yeah, I think that it's super cool. It's very, very, very cool. I'm gonna have a smoke here. Speaking of music, got this dusty bastard. Let's see here. Oh, I have not picked up a guitar in way too long. This is my wife's guitar. And I really need to get this thing cleaned up. Well, these strings are really ancient and fucked up. Ooh, where do my fingers go again? Jesus, I can tell I have not played in so long. After fucking around with putty, I can't move my hands. Can't move my fingers. Let's try this. I don't want to get putty all over my fretboard either. I really need to get this guitar cleaned up and restrung. I haven't played in a long time because my shoulder, the issues I have in my shoulders and stuff, causes a lot of nerve issues, and it winds up becoming really painful to play. I also play mandolin and banjo, and mandolin especially is very painful for me to play now. Because of the way you have to hold the instrument and the style of playing I do. Let's see if I can do something here. No, I can't. Sounds horrible. This is like a little ditty I wrote like years ago. I don't really remember how I played it. I mean, I remember it, but the muscle memory is kind of slipping me by. And it hurts. Holy shit. That really hurts. My guitar that I play, I own a really beautiful Alvarez that I bought about, well, I own 12, 13 different guitars. bass guitars and stuff. But my go-to, my baby, is my Alvarez. I paid about $3,500 for that years and years ago. It's upstairs, and the way it sounds is just, oh god, it's such a beautiful sounding guitar. And I really don't like the way this guitar sounds. I got this one for my wife because she wanted to learn. She never picked it up. Um, I guess she lost interest. I think now she would probably play piano, which I could teach her how to do. Oh, I play piano too. Ooh, what's that chord change was? Yeah, this guitar sounds awful. I can't. I can't even play it. And it's really starting to hurt already just in trying to mess around with that for a couple of minutes. So I'm gonna stop torturing you guys with that. But anyhow, yeah. So Jen, I got this package getting ready for you. That's gonna be going out next week. Concert. Thanks for the awful noodling. Yeah, no, you're welcome. I gotta pick it up every once in a while and try to do something just to keep my fingers, to keep the muscle memory going. I don't do enough of it just because it is so painful for me to play now, which sucks. But hopefully, some changes will occur fairly soon with doctors and shit like that. I had a Yeah, I need to apologize. I haven't been able to live stream as much because I had many doctor's appointments last week. I finally saw my neurosurgeon, who's an amazing guy. I instantly felt really comfortable with him, so that's a big plus. But I got to meet with him, and he's got some good ideas that we're gonna try out. I got to get some more X-rays done with my head tilted, like my head tilted back, and then my head tilted forward. Fuck, that hurt. So that they can see the spinal cord like open and closed in the different positions. Basically, I was informed in one of my appointments last week that I do have some pretty severe bone spurs on my 5th, 6th, and 7th cervical vertebrae. And then my spinal cord, the spinal cord canal has some severe narrowing. And what that's causing is some pinched nerve issues in my neck. And all these little nerves that are in your neck, that go through your spinal cord, are all connected to the nerves in your shoulders and stuff like that. And he seems to think that, well, he knows, he thinks, he knows, he's a fucking doctor, the guy's a genius, that with some corrective stuff to my nerves, it's called ablation. So what they do is they basically they take the nerve and they burn it and kill it so that you don't feel pain anymore, which sounds amazing. I would love to not feel pain in my neck the way I do. So we're going to explore some of that, stuff. Basically, he's trying to do everything he possibly can to correct the issues without having to cut into me, which I really, really, really appreciate, because the less cutting into my body, the better. So if ablation or some other techniques can occur to correct my nerve issues, that'll be fantastic. And I still don't know what the orthopedic surgeon's going to say about my arms. He may come in. These guys work together, so the orthopedic surgeon may come in and say, "Well, that's a great idea in theory. What Doctor X and X is saying, but I'm looking at your shoulder, and I'm telling you that you're fucked up and you need surgery." And thank you, American medical system. I'm not going to find out any of that until I talk to this doctor in May. That was the soonest I could get an appointment with my orthopedic surgeon to just talk to him. Is in May 20th, I think I have an appointment. So, yeah. The American medical system works slower than the law for anything. Sorry, guys, I'm just putting up my my other work table here. So yeah, that's all stuff I was working on last week, and I just didn't have time to play in the studio. I didn't have as much time as I would have really liked to have. So I apologize. I couldn't. I didn't live stream. I had time to live stream, but by the time I finished doing appointments and going to physical therapy and all that shit, I just didn't want to do anything else when I got home. I was tired. And since my wife is back at work, I like to make dinner for us, and we spend time together and hang out when she gets home from work. So that's why. Today I had 0 appointments, so I was able to go ahead and take some time and hang out with you guys, and that's been nice. I really enjoyed today's live stream. Yeah, it's a very long wait. It's fucking frustrating as hell. You would think, like, these guys get money, crazy money, from these insurance companies. My God, when I walked into my doctor's office, the neurosurgeon's office, I was fucking blown away. And the dude had like $5,000 Lego sets and models and shit of like SR-71s, and he just had such a cool office. It was hard for me to concentrate because there's just so much cool shit going on in his office. And he plays classical guitar and stuff. So we ended up talking about music and shit like that. Bear with me, I gotta release the air from this compressor. Oh, that's not good. Oh, I think my pressure gauge on my air compressor is stuck. Yeah, I think it's stuck. I think I need a new pressure gauge. I mean, I can always go by feel with my pressure gauge and stuff like that, but yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, my neurosurgeon. And his office is just so amazing. You could just, everything was glass and like custom metal desk. Like there's $100,000 worth of furniture just in his office. It's just crazy shit. So the guy's making some fucking money, but you'd think doctors like that, like they'd try to get you in sooner so they can get that money, but I don't know. I just don't fucking know. Everything is hurry up and wait. It's just that much longer that I'm going to be off work and on disability. which, I mean, honestly, I don't mind. I don't really mind being on disability. It's kind of fucking nice. If I didn't have hobbies, I'd definitely be in some trouble. I'd be bored out of my fucking mind if I didn't have this hobby and this YouTube channel and the friends and family and everybody I have in my life. I'm very, very, I don't like to say blessed, but I'm very fortunate to have you guys and the friends and family I have in my life getting me through this shit, because I'd be bored out of my fucking mind if I didn't have y'all. So it's been a while, and I'm able to still put some impressions into this sculpting clay. It's gotten some hardness to it now, but I can still work with it, which is nice. Yeah, I like this. I really like this stuff a lot. I'm very pleased with it. But yeah, I can't thank you guys enough, my subscribers, my friends, for cruising with me on this cool journey. This, hanging out and doing this hobby of ours and sharing our. I really wish I did send an email recently to YouTube asking about, and they haven't gotten back to me, but I did ask them about, like, what about allowing our subscribers, to post in the chat, to post pictures of their work, projects they're working on. So I hope someday YouTube allows that. I think it'd be really cool to have that in the chat. I'm guessing maybe they don't do it so people don't send dick pics and shit like that, which I can appreciate. I definitely wouldn't want to be getting dick pics while I'm live streaming. I'm sure that has something to do with it, though. But yeah, they haven't gotten back to me about that. But I mean, there's always permissions. We should be able to review a picture before it's posted in the chat. Like if I get a picture that pops up, I can look at the picture first and then approve it, and then it'll come up in the chat. That's what I told them. So I don't know. We'll see what happens. We shall see. But YouTube is working on some stuff, so who knows? We'll see what happens. Yeah, someone would ruin it right away. Yeah, it'd be dicks and boobies and girls covered in shit. I mean, use your imagination. If people can come up with 2 girls, 1 cup, God knows what somebody would post on the live stream. But again, permissions. Oh yeah, definitely you, Jerry. I could see Jerry getting banned in the first 5 minutes of a live stream. I could see that. I'm just kidding, bro. But yeah, it's who knows. We shall see. Oh my God, my allergies today. Yeah, it's like 78 degrees outside and sunny here in Southern California. Oh. I don't know what else to talk about or say, but all I know is I love you guys, and I really appreciate your time and your company. Anybody else watching this later, please feel free to subscribe and hit that like button. I love you guys too. And that all being said, thanks for stopping by today and checking out my boring putty session while we're sealing gaps. I mean, it's definitely a good learning experience for all of us to figure out how the sculpting part works. We'll get to learn more when we get into primering all this and really getting a good look at how the sculpture work turned out as far as covering up these drainage holes and gaps. So I really appreciate you guys' time and company while we figure this all out. And again, I love you. Happy 3D printing. Happy painting. Jen, Jerry, everyone, all my regulars, love you guys. I look forward to talking to you and seeing you soon. And without further ado, have a nice day. Happy 3D printing, happy painting, and toodles.